This is our 1979 Fiat 2000, better known as a Fiat 124. And I kid you not, this rusty, crusty little booger is one of my top 3 favorite classic cars of all time, but case is yet to be certain.
Yeah, I've never been huge on the little roadster thing. I did figure out a name for this color though. It's phlegm.
But in today's video, we're going to get Case behind the wheel of our little 124 here, and I'm going to try to convince him by the end of it, this is a cool car.
One thing that I am interested in though is the distance between the bumper and the front of the car with which I can step through, which that's extreme, Tommy.
So here's the scoop, right? What year did the 124 Spider come out?
1966.
That's right, and this was quite a revolutionary design. It was done by your people.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Pininfarina designed, yeah.
It's cool. I like that it's Italian, but by the time it made it over here to the States, we kind of ruined it, the full diving board on the front.
So here's the scoop of this car, right? Very elegant, very, very beautifully crafted sports car. Well, yeah, minus the fender trim falling off.
Is this original?
Yes, I'll admit that that's not great. But what happened is by the late 70s here in the US, this car had to conform to the 300 mile per hour impact bumper law. So they did bolt on this perhaps less than elegant chrome thing.
You know, people are gonna literally think that you mean 300 mile per hour bumper. The sarcasm does not work well on YouTube.
It doesn't work online. So I do understand the reasoning that maybe some of these later ones aren't quite as elegant. But the weirdest thing about this little car is, you know, here at this company, we've been very fortunate to own some pretty interesting classics, like the Dodge Viper, like the C3 Corvette. And for whatever reason, I cannot comprehend, this little booger green Fiat gets more thumbs up and more waves than anything we've ever owned. People adore this little car. And I have to say, you're going to disagree with this, even with the impact bumpers, I think it's still a pretty attractive little design.
Yeah. No, in general, I do think actually the Fiat 124 is a really good looking car. If you were to take this and fix it up a little bit, it would be beautiful. But it is true that of all the vehicles we have and have access to, you and Roman have been driving this one the most. I've even noticed that Roman has personalized this one a little bit by, well, you've got to run a front license plate here in Colorado.
Yes.
I like the way he engineered the attachment. I mean, granted, those are some of the bigger zip ties I've ever seen.
I mean, I think the thing that I love about driving this car more than anything we own is it's a $3,500 Fiat.
You don't have to take it too seriously.
You don't have to take it too seriously. If you want to zip tie a license plate to it, you can. If you want to park it next to the family in the Suburban that is for sure going to open the door into it, you can. Because as Case is about to point out,
it's already been hit by a torpedo.
With some of the chrome 70s accessories removed, the whole rear end design here, how it's all inverted. Stop making fun of the bumpers. I get the bumpers are huge, but you know what? You could have a minor accident with that and come out fine.
You could have a potentially deadly accident without even touching the bodywork. The other thing that I noticed, live rear axle, that's cool. I'm seeing some little dingleberries here at the back, which look like breather tubes. Solid rear axle. I mean, this has got more off-road capability than a lot of today's SUVs.
Listen, man, it worked for Ford and the Mustang for like 60 years. We all know.
Those never crash. So.
Yeah, touche. All right, touche.
Good deal.
Now, what are you pointing at now?
I do like this, actually. They put the keyhole right in the 2000 badge.
Yeah, that's pretty sporty, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
That's kind of fun. And actually, these cars, all joking aside, incredibly popular. I mean, when did they stop manufacturing these?
So it's kind of interesting because from my understanding, Fiat built these all the way to 1982.
Yeah.
And then Pininfarina took over, and they were made all the way to 1985. So almost 2 decades.
That's
from
insane.
1966 to 85.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a little 2-door roadster lasting 2 decades in like today's world. And selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands is really the amazing part about these cars. But why don't you pop the hood, Case? We'll show them what's underneath the hood.
Oh, it's a good thing I've definitely practiced this off camera, and I'm not going to do it for the first time while we're currently rolling.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
So, when these cars launched, they had a really zesty little dual overhead cam, 1.4 in Europe. This is not exactly that.
No, over the years, it changed a lot. Our car is a 79, so it's toward the end of the production run of this vehicle, and by this point, it had changed quite a bit. The 124 that we have here is based on the 124 family car that you could get in Italy, and that had a different motor. They modified the engine, made it dual overhead cam, all kind of fancy things. I think the family car Fiat 124 was a pushrod engine, so they changed quite a bit. But these twin cam Fiat engines were produced for a really long time.
Super long time. Now this one in US spec means that it is laden with vacuum lines. You can kind of see the the vacuum line diagram here. So what you ended up with, especially with a fairly mild cam, was an engine that didn't make a ton of power or a ton of RPM.
Yeah, so this car, US spec, should be sitting at, well, should have been, however many years ago, sitting at about 86 horsepower. Fiat 124s throughout the production run could have been anywhere from like 80 to even 130-ish horsepower, I think. Here in the States, Fiat USA teamed up with another company to actually sell a few hundred, I think about 700 turbo versions of this car, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We know somebody that has one.
We should do that video.
That would be a cool video. And then I think overseas in Europe, they even had a supercharged version of this car.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Ours is neither of those.
No, ours is the US spec smog clogged one. Couple things that have been really good about this car. Even though it looks like it came, don't touch the AC ducting.
Mission critical, yeah, HVAC duct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though it looks like it was dragged out of the Lusitania, it does run shockingly well, and it's been incredibly reliable. I think we've put like 3,000 or 4,000 miles on this thing, and it always starts first try. Unless it's been sitting for more than an hour, and then it takes about 3 minutes to start. But apart from that, first try, it cranks over. And it's actually, I think you'll find, a pretty zesty little engine. I am wondering what is leaking out of it currently.
It smells like gas.
Interesting. Well, the gas is entering places it probably shouldn't go.
The gas, well, it might be exiting in places it shouldn't. The gas smell could be separate from the small pond.
Yes, I think that might be an oil pond.
Yeah, and also on top of your spark plug there.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm wondering what that little pond is. But listen, it'll run good enough for today.
To be honest, I'm not sure a seatbelt in this car makes you any safer.
You don't feel safe in this car? It's Italian steel. The thickest, most rust-resistant kind of steel case.
Does that brake light just stay on?
No, that's because the parking brake sometimes flops on a little bit, but you're good.
Cool.
Either that or we don't have brakes, but we'll figure that out pretty fast.
Yeah, well, you know. This is the first vehicle of this nature that I've driven. Obviously, I've driven the car that made these go extinct.
Yeah. The Miata.
The Miata.
Do you like the Miata?
I like it okay. I think they're fun, but a lot of them, to me, are a little pricey for what they are.
Sure.
But I will give you this little twin cam engine is pretty lively.
I mean, I think what I love about this car is no part of it is like serious. And it's not trying to be as fast as a Corvette or as flashy as a Mustang. It's just trying to be a fun little guy, and it is a fun little guy.
Yeah, slow car fast, right? That's what's fun. You take a slow car, you ring it out, you shift it hard.
All right, get on it, Case. Give it all she's got. Oh! That's nearly 85 horsepower.
You know what's really tragic though? There are some of these cars that were sold with a 3-speed automatic.
Oh, are you kidding? You could get this with the auto?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Which has got to be just a brutally disappointing car.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. The manual is all of the fun in this car. If you were to take that away, you would be left with very little.
And it is a pretty good manual. Like, the throws are long, but it's also very precise.
I mean, genuinely, as we started rolling this video, is the first time I've ever driven this car, so I haven't practiced this car at all. But you can just jump in it and drive it however you want. It is very user-friendly, very intuitive. It's an easy little car to drive.
And like, listen, will it be a reliable car? I don't want to put my name on that. This one's been reliable enough for us, granted only a few thousand miles driven, but you know, it's simple enough where the parts are cheap enough, and if you got the Chilton's book in the trunk like we do, you could probably figure out your way around a lot of this stuff. And there's just not a lot to break, right? I mean, it's a single carburetor on a 4-cylinder engine.
It's simple. It can keep dumping oil
into
on
itself.
on top of the spark plug, and you know
good.
we're probably not going to fix it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I get where you guys are coming from. I understand why you're driving this as much as you are.
All right. Well, we got Case at least a little bit on board. Let me know what you guys think of our crusty little rusty Fiat 124. If you guys have any stories. I think that's another thing, is there were so many of these in the 70s. Just a lot of people have a ton of stories. So leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.